Hi and welcome to Outside the Box. This is our 10th episode. Today is the 24th of October, and today we're going to discuss mostly things regarding the Swedish Masters and our ranking system. And I'm going to leave this over to Lage to start the discussion. So take it away.
Yeah, sure. The topic came natural to me because we played last weekend. We played Swedish Master in Sweden, or do you say last weekend, like 2 weeks ago? So we had some interesting lists there. We played the Swedish comp system between 10 and 15, and you get 150 points for each comp step, which made most players opting for comp 15. I played a comp 15 dwarf army, and we had some other high comping lists in the top. I think Robert Gustafsson, who won the tournament, actually a 40k player, played comp 15 Wolves. We had Dennis Palmkvist at comp 15 Dogs War, and David Dynefors with Wolves. I think he had like comp 14,8 or something. So a lot of high comps in the top. I took 4th place with my dwarfs. It was the most boring list I have ever played. Second time I brought dwarfs. The first time I played like this Anvil of Doom in the last edition with 40 Longbeards. With banner. What was it called? Master Rune of Challenge or something. Yeah. And this time I brought double organ guns, 1 grudge thrower, and 1 big unit of hammers and 1 big unit of longbeards. So I was gonna play versus low comp, and I just played high comp all tournaments. So no one wanted to push me. They just took their like 11 points and moved on to the next game.
So what was the rules for the comp diff?
150 points per comp step.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was very high, so I think that was the reason that everyone brought high comp lists.
I guess the reason was like 150 comp scores per difference, and also ETC victory point table. So was it 1500 for a massacre?
Yeah,
1500 for 20.
So I mean, it's essentially 1 battle point per difference in comp.
Yeah,
exactly. So for example, my first game I played the comp 10 Dark Elf list. And I started the game off with 15-5, and he needed to push my army. And my army was almost impossible to push, but he tried. And actually, funny story, he got 2 irresistible purple suns through my army, 24 inches and 30 inches, and I still nilled him. It was kind of funny. But I was kind of lucky with my shooting as well. So.
And by the way, for all the viewers, I'm gonna put up the top 5 lists in the description of this video, so you can watch them there.
Yeah, I should say that it's pretty rare to see a Dogs of War list at all. I mean, just the fact that there was one. That's pretty interesting to me.
Yeah,
now,
big
I
unit
wasn't
of
there,
man players, big unit of man players, and a lot of shooting. So you had like a shooting, magic-y. I think he had a light council as well. List with high comp, and the winning list was a all shooting wood elf list. The third list was double dragon wood elf list, but both of the wood elf list played Naestra and the 2 sisters, which are immortal.
Sisters of Twilight.
And the winning list actually played Orion, which I think is a great model, at least in the comp system.
Yeah,
with all that shooting and stuff like that. I talked to Eric afterwards, and he said that they are gonna add the Twilight Sisters and Orion to the shooting camp for Wolves, because they get too much shooting with those 2 special characters, along with all the other shooting.
All the normal shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get to see that.
You could say that looking at, in some way, it's mostly up to the matchups, but there was quite a big difference between Robert's final score and Dennis, who ended up in 2nd place.
Yeah, definitely.
So was the list? we all know that there's always going to be smaller or bigger holes in the comp system. I mean, you're always going to find some. I mean, some armies are always going to have like, if you go like this and go all out, and in the current meta this works. I mean, that's smart. In the end, that's clever. But in the end, there's always going to be kind of a small nerf after each patch. But did you feel when playing this tournament that there's a huge hole anywhere?
Not really. Maybe for the wolves. I played the dwarves because I think they are undercomped. And I think I got punished because the comp didn't give so much at this tournament. Because if you play this kind of defensive dwarf lists and you start off with a good amount of points, I would rather like face comp 12 armies every turn and get only 300 points for that. So like starting off with a 12-8, but they need to push you because otherwise you win.
Yeah.
At this tournament, it was like everyone brought comp 15 because it was so obvious to bring comp 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you don't get this advantage from the beginning, and the dwarves I think need it, especially comp tournaments, because they can't push. So that was like my battle plan, but it failed because I got too much bonus from it, and therefore everyone brought like comp 15.
Okay.
But I think they are undercomped for like a normal tournament when you get only 100 points for each step. I think they have a lot of cheap shooting and their blocks are like untouchable.
Yeah.
You can't charge them with anything. So, and yeah, it's just a boring list to play versus and with.
I mean, dwarf is always boring. You cannot.
Yeah,
funny
I had like
list.
4 of my games lasted shorter than 30 minutes at a tournament.
Yeah. But
It makes, I mean, you can go watch other games a lot. I mean,
Yeah, and that's like
that's
also my
always
other point of bringing dwarves to the Masters, because I wanted to watch a lot of games, because I wouldn't want to play Warhammer. So
someone said in our live stream, the commentated game, that if we're going to a tournament to live stream a game, and someone else is playing, we should play dwarves, because then we also have time to stream the games.
But
Some truth to that.
yeah, I'm not sure, but if I'm not mistaken, there were only 2 wood elves at Masters. Or were there more?
Might be true.
Because I think I read somewhere on the forum that they felt that something was wrong because they ended up in 1st and 3rd place and there were only 2 wood elves. But
I mean, they're 2 decent players as well. I mean, they're not top tier, but I mean, David always finish high, and
Yeah.
Robert Gustafsson is the ETC player for the 40k team.
Absolutely,
upcoming
and
star
also,
for MEC,
like with-
so
to be fair, it's the Masters.
yeah, sure, but there were a lot of not that great players there as well.
And also, like the
It's
the
good.
victory point table with 150 points per step and 150 points per comp, it's gonna be easier to win big with armies such as wood elves, for example, or dwarves.
Yeah.
And I think that was the reason for the whole tournament as well, because most of the players, or a lot of players, were used to playing under the ETC restrictions with these tight victory point tables. And I mean, I like it because you can play a defensive army and still win big. But the problem with the comp score, when you get 150 points for each comp step, it destroys the game, in my opinion. It would be better to
the
play
problem
like a
is
comp,
that
comp cap or something.
You can play defensively and still win big, but that's not it, the whole of it. I mean, you also have to win defensively to play defensively to win big.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can play an army that goes straight into your face, but at like comp 15, I mean, it's something. Shooting is always easier to get in on high comp than close combat. Close combat always costs a lot of comp.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if you're gonna have your army around like 15 comp, it's probably gonna be a defensive army.
Yeah.
So it makes for a boring game, I think.
Yeah.
That's just my.
We might add to this discussion that the Masters this year, the people who got invited, they used a system where they looked at the tournaments over the year, of the past year, and took like 10-15% of the top from the tournament. And
Yeah, it was the top 15%.
15%, yeah.
You needed to be in the top 15% on any tournament in Sweden.
Yeah, exactly.
So had more than 30 persons, I think.
Yeah, it was something like that. But now that we have a pretty new ranking system, I mean, the system is old, but the ranking is new.
Yeah.
Do you think that for
ELO system?
What?
Where you have like, it's an ELO system.
Yeah.
So it's the same as in chess, I think. I think they play with the ELO. So you get a ranking after the tournament, not only for where you place at the tournament, but more like how many points you take out of the tournaments, depending on which players you faced. So depending on where on the table your opponents were, you can get different score.
It's a great system.
Yeah.
So you can have an under average score and still get a positive ranking from it, because you might have faced really hard opponents, and the other way around as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Kai, for example, lost like 10 points after placing third place at 72 points.
Can I just, I mean, like, regarding ranking, wouldn't it be interesting to add the option of not having your score count? Or is that option already there? Because, for example, if you go to a tournament and you're going to play something fun, you don't want your ranking to count for that tournament.
I don't think you can do it at the moment.
That should be something they add.
The problem is, I don't think it's possible to add. I think you have to do it like I mean, everything is possible, of course, but looking at this system now and how the community and the administration works, I think there will be tournaments who is not a ranking tournament. And I think you have to aim for those, because if you go to a tournament to say, I don't want my ranking to count, then it cannot be counted for the opponent either.
Yeah, and that's
the problem. Then you fuck up for other people.
Yeah, but for example, like take Gates of Westridge, which was probably the biggest tournament this year. What was it, like 110 players?
Yeah.
And I felt like playing Orcs and Goblins, and I think I got best Orcs and Goblin at like 20th place, 19th place or something.
Yeah.
And I went from like 5th place in the ranking to like 12th place.
Yeah.
And that's just because I played the fun list. And that discouraged me to play a fun list.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I'm the ranking system and I speak to you now, I would say you brought the wrong list.
Yeah, and it would be nice if I could then say like, okay, I'm not gonna play serious this tournament. I just want to have some fun, play this gimmicky Skarsniks list, and then I mean, shouldn't it be that hard to?
It is that hard, because the 4 people you play against, or the 5 people, sorry, their ranking cannot count either, and then their players, the players they met, cannot count, and in the end, nobody's ranking can count.
Yeah, so you need to arrange like a whole tournament where you say that.
So the problem is
we don't have the
ELO system.
Yeah, the ELO system. I mean, to be honest, Kasparov in chess don't go to a tournament and say, I don't want my ranking to count.
No, but he can only choose between black and white.
True, man, true. I'm going to put up a link to the ranking as well, so if you're interested in seeing how it looks. I mean, it's building right now, and it's kind of it's out. It's a version 1. It's a version 1, but I think it will develop over the years.
Yeah, I think they will change the K value to 1.
Yeah.
Soon, because I think it's been a nice shift now in ranking, and they will like stagnate ranking. So.
Yeah. So and I
just need to bring down Kai a little bit before.
But one thing that I would be interested in, if people are watching this and you have a ranking system of your own, please put a post or a comment with a link so we can look how you guys do out there. I mean, we know there's huge communities in Europe, and I always wonder how do they handle like picking a team for ETC, or just if they have some kind of masters or yeah.
It's always interesting. It's interesting to see how much the ranking decides who goes to DTC.
Yeah.
That's always interesting.
But
And I think that could be something we implement in Sweden as well. Like they do in the 40k. Like the top 3 players decides the captain, and they have automatic places in the HC team as well. And then you choose
I don't think
2 more players from the top 10, and then
if we want
the rest they can choose free.
I'm
the
with
best team to go, that's a bad way to go about it.
Yeah, but I think a good way to go by it, if we're gonna adapt and change. I mean, I think Lag is 100% correct. We kind of have to adapt a system like that. The thing is, from my point of view, is why it works better in 40k, is that they don't emphasize as hard as we do on the kind of pairing, because their coach or their captain always plays. If you're a captain right now, I mean, things could change, but if you're captain now in Team Sweden, you don't play as many tournaments because there isn't really that much time.
But the top 3 players choose a captain.
Exactly, but I want to stop there.
Whoever.
The thing is,
okay.
I want to stop there and say, okay, they pick the captain, but then the captain pick the team. Because if we have to pick from the top 10, looking at the top 10, there could be problems.
I mean, if they are at top 10, they are probably like close to the best.
I mean, top 10 is there are strong players, but my biggest issue with that is that I'm 12th place.
Yeah, but you can still be picked on the 3 wild cards.
You wouldn't have Robert, you wouldn't have Marcus, you wouldn't have me or Eric placing for the team.
Yeah, and
but three of you guys can be picked anyway.
Yeah.
For the extra slots.
Okay.
You need to pick 5 on the from the top 10.
So you go like top 10 and you wait. The first 3 players pick a captain. Did you say?
Yeah. So exactly. So at the moment, I don't know who's at top 10 or top 3. I know me and Kai are first and second.
And that it's Dennis.
So we pick a captain, for example.
Yeah.
And we have an automatic placement in the team as well. So the top 3 is actually C players at the moment. So that wouldn't change anything. And
Only
then
C gold though.
So then, for example, we say we pick Hampus as captain. We ask if he wants to be the captain, and he says yes. And then he can pick. He needs to pick 5 players from top 10. So then, for example, he could add. I just mentioned earlier ETC players now. For example, Rickard Tröger and Håkan Karlsson. So then we have the 5 players from top 10, and then you can pick 3 more from wherever.
Outside of.
Yeah. I'm kind of sure that's how it works. Maybe it needs to be like in top 20 or something.
But there could be an issue. I mean, like we play a lot of Swedish comp, and it could be an issue with who places top 3. I mean, considering like if everybody would play demons and place really high because the demons are broken, and then we have 3 hardcore demon players at the top or something like that.
Yeah, sure. That could be a problem. That could really be a problem. But the thing is also, I think if one player denies the invitation, for example, Håkan says, no, I don't want to play, then you can also choose the 11th player. But the problem still remains. I mean, if there are only like demon players, because you don't, for example, say that you want 1 demon player, but you don't want 2 demon players in the team, so then that could also be a problem.
Is it
but it
correct
is
that
also
we have
a problem the way that we have it now, like, or at least the way we had it before, where like the last team chooses the captain, then the captain chooses the team, and then the team chooses the captain. That's
I totally agree. But if for example we would have adapted this year, and it would be okay, Hampus, do you want to be captain? Yes, I want to be the captain. Okay, now you have to pick your team. I would kind of feel like, nah, I don't. I want to pick my 8 from a bigger. I want to see them perform. I mean, for me, I don't like when you connect the ranking system, which have comp system tournaments, with the team for the ETC, because from my experience, which is quite long now from the ETC, I kind of, this sounds cocky, I kind of know which players I want. for the team. And I'm not talking about armies or anything. You have to have a kind of mentality to be there and handle the stress. I mean, just looking at you, like how happy you were when you guys won this year. I mean, it shows something more than just I like to play this game. I mean,
I cried like a baby for
yeah,
it. So what he's talking about.
You and Eric were the most emotional, but you've been fighting like fucking assholes for a couple of years to get that prize, and
yeah.
I need that from the guys playing. There has to be a mentality that we are going there to win, nothing else. I mean,
yeah, sure. That's been the mentality for the whole team.
Yeah.
And you see it more in some players than you do in others. But for the players that haven't been there, you have no idea how they will react.
No, that's true.
Good players that are at the top 10 that.
But you have kind of a feeling.
Really take that chance of going there.
The thing is, like, it would only give more. I mean, like, it would make the ranking more powerful and more. Like, you would really want to place high on the ranking, and the tournament gear would be really interesting if you had that system of, well, top 3 chooses between top 10 and stuff like that. But it would be worse for the ETC team. I'm not saying it would be bad for the ETC team, but it couldn't be better. Because, like, if
why not?
Because if he can already choose the 8 players if they are the best.
Yeah, but he might not know which are the best players. I mean, Hampus haven't been, for example, haven't been at that many tournaments. And I think both you and I have a better know-how on the new players that are on the scene that are good.
Yeah, that's probably
and
true.
If they are at the top 10, we could maybe choose them, but some players don't, or the ranking says that you need to pick one of those players, and then Hampus are forced to, like, do his research and find out who is really the best player.
Yeah, I get, like, that problem could probably be bigger if we get a new captain who, for example, if Hampus doesn't want to do this anymore and Håkan doesn't want to do it anymore, and you get someone fairly inexperienced to step up, it could probably help them a lot to have a ranking system to help them.
And I think, to be fair, I mean, I think like everything Lager says is valid. It's just that for me, it's ETC for me is so much heart and so much about finding players who really want to win. And I think Lager is correct when he says that you don't really know from players, but you kind of get a feeling for players.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, this is gonna sound harsh, but over the years, I've seen players who's never gonna get any better because they're kind of stuck somewhere. They are at the level and they just play the game now. They're not trying to adapt or the only thing that I can see changing for some players is that they are playing an army that's kind of in the middle, looking at how weak or strong it is, and they change it to a very strong army.
Yeah. Or playing only, like, defensively and not really mastering all aspects of the game and stuff like that.
I mean, for me, if I look at Eric, who played in the ETC team, take him as an example, I've always felt him like a more defensive player who kind of always overwatch the board and see where his possibilities are. But now at the ETC, we forced him, or not forced him, he got opponents that he needed to push down, and he adapted, and he showed, at least I who could look at the games, that guy, he is so versatile. He's really, really good. And I think I heard that he's not interested in playing this year or the next year, and that's bad for us, but hopefully he will have a nice time with his family instead.
Yeah, and I mean, like, should also mention that, I mean, 8 players get to go every year, but there are a lot more than 8 players who could.
Yeah, I think the ranking is better used for, like, take out the troop. Or what you say in English. Yeah. Truppen in Swedish at least. Yeah. For the ETC team, like, if you are at top 10, you get an automatic placement in the ETC troop, but you don't have an automatic placement in the team. Something like that could really be good because then you have an intention of place.
And that will give some
good place
legitimacy to the comp or the rankings as well. Like
exactly.
Right now it's just for show, but then it would have a reason also.
Yeah, because the thing now I'm pre-talking my thoughts because at the end of October here I'm gonna announce how I want to do it, and one thought that has been going through my mind is kind of I want to. You guys know me, and I want to use the things that are out there, so it becomes more, how do you say, not legal, but more accepted by the community. So the first thought is you invite the top 20 from the ranking, and then I can choose some picks lower down the ranking that I know is very, very good. I mean, we have ETC players who's kind of fallen through the ranking, and they're still pretty legit for the ETC, but at the ranking they haven't kind of played so well.
Yeah.
So
who has fallen down?
You have Van Berry, for example, who should probably have an invite at place 46.
Yeah. For me, I would like to kind of invite the Scott brothers, Stefan Persson, and Christian, and Sebastian, if he's interested once more. I mean,
I
of
think
course,
that Sebastian...
of course, I'm going to invite the whole team. I can say it like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the team and stuff like that, I mean, like Eric, he has said that he won't be able to make it next year, right?
No,
but he wants to spend time with his family.
Anyways,
he has a new child on the way as well.
Yeah, right. I want him to be invited anyway. Because
and I think Sebastian also said that is he getting married or something?
He wasn't sure. So
okay.
We'll see. But I think we're going off track from the subject. I mean,
sure.
Lag and I were the ones discussing before this that we wanted to talk about the masters and the ranking system. And for me, I hopefully people will watch this and hopefully people will link their ranking system. So maybe we can do kind of like a follow-up to this episode and discuss other countries' ranking system. Because to be honest, I feel that our system works pretty good. We're not that many players in Sweden. But I really wonder how to do it in Germany and Poland. I mean, there are so many players and so many different tournaments. And how do they connect everything? Do they have the multiple ranking systems for regions? Or I'm very interested.
How do they keep track of all the good players? Because, I mean, they should have like 30 people that beat... that could beat games or take games of the Swedish players in the Swedish CTC team. So how do they keep track of all of those? Because upcoming stars is really hard to keep track of in such a big community.
Yeah. So when looking at the Swedish ranking system right now, do you have anything you would like to improve or change? Or
no, not really.
I think it's good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a good base.
It's a good base. I mean, it could still use... It looks like it's 3 years old or something, but... I mean, it's
You're
like
always
one person...
about the looks.
It's one person that has made all of this, and I'm so grateful for it. And I've missed the Swedish ranking system so long.
Yeah.
I've talked about it for like 5 years that we want this and we need it. And you can see all these people that are interested in the ranking as well. Like even those playing around like ranking 200, they're really interested in the ranking.
Yeah. And there's a lot of jokes.
It's good for newcomers because then you see, hey, it's the Swedish ranking. I want to go for a top and go to a lot of tournaments, and then you get active and you want to play where I'm a competitive.
Yeah. It's pretty cool that it's almost 500 players ranked currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, there's a lot of players in the ranking that's pretty much only going to play 1 or 2 tournaments each year, and that was the thing that I wanted to discuss. I'm not sure how the ELO-ranking would handle a thing like this, but somehow I feel that to be honest, I mean, we're talking about we've reached kind of the top of the ranking. You need to kind of take more. I mean, for example, in the end, a player who was always winning his tournaments with 100 battle points, in the end he's going to get stuck because he needs to take 100 battle points for every tournament he plays. If he takes 98, he's going to fall. So for me, the thing that I don't really like with this ranking system, but I haven't addressed it yet, but I'm talking about it now, is that let's say if Kai kind of have reached the top of what's possible right now. I mean, I'm not sure how many battle points he needs to take for each tournament, but it's a lot right now. I mean, it
depends on who's facing.
Yeah, but let's say it's around 80 points or something.
Yep.
If he just stops play now, if he stops his Warhammer career, I mean, he's going to be in top 10 forever.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the thing I want to adapt. I want that maybe we look at a 2-year period or a 18-month period, and then you start to remove tournaments who is not valid for ranking anymore.
Yeah, that could be an idea.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Then you have
like
a marathon. But you could have a
to-
marathon ranking, and then you have a
Exactly.
current ranking.
Yeah, something like that.
Because 40K does it. They take the 6 best. I mean, they have a different system, but they use it kind of like
They take like the 6 best tournaments in the last
during
2 years or something.
18 months.
18 months.
And that means you have to keep playing, and you have. I mean, you're not even in the ranking until you have 6 tournaments during 18 months. I think that's I don't like that, but I would like to see that if you play a tournament today, and then you play a tournament next year, and next year, if you only play a kind of a local tournament somewhere and you always win it, and you always slaughter it, then you would kind of be in the top of the ranking. And I want time to be a
We don't have that problem at the moment.
No, we don't. But you understand what I mean. I don't want time to be a factor. I want time to be a factor here.
Yeah, sure.
Is that something we should have as a closing word?
Yeah, I think so.
Close to the half hour mark.
Yeah,
Still
and I mean, we want to keep this episode a little bit shorter, so we've discussed and said we're gonna stop them around 30 minutes. But I think we at least scratched the surface and gonna show with links and the discussion we had about how we do it in Sweden. And if someone wants to share how they do it, please do.
And we want more players in Sweden, so get all your friends and grab them to the tournaments. Those that are watching this show and are not playing at tournaments at the moment.
Are we
there are
doing
a lot
these-
of tournaments in Sweden. Just go into CFBR and check it out.
Yeah, SWFBR, just Google it. Yeah. Is the aim to have one of these shows every week, or?
Maybe 2 a month we've discussed, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say goodbye to the community, and we'll be back, pretty soon. And maybe we should discuss, you're going to a tournament pretty soon, a big tournament in Sweden, a group tournament.
BSK, team tournament.
Team tournament.
ETC restrictions.
Yeah, so maybe
Format teams.
Maybe we'll discuss that
at the last.
Yeah,
next
absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
It would. Yeah, I mean, it would be fun to have an episode before and an episode after,
True.
if possible.
Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah, it's not this weekend, but the next weekend. So
Yeah.
See you guys. Take care.
Take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
later.